And I'm sure there's some studies out there that could show that you not hugging another person is like bad for your mental health. You know, like. For sure, like you need some.
That's like a pervert's defense. It's like my mental health, man. It's deteriorating.
It releases serotonin and dopamine. I have to hug you.
I got to spoon somebody or I'll fail.
And a high school in the UK.
Ooh.
That's why you're here.
Nice.
Okay, you are the voice of the UK right now.
I'm ready for it.
Has banned all physical contact and romantic relationships between students.
Okay.
And is now getting some frustrated parents making some comments. What is everybody's opinion and take on a high school banning physical contact and romantic relationships?
I'll be like, hey, you trying to cock block my kids? Once they're all daughters, you trying to cock block all my daughters? Come on!
Is that what you mean by the parents are frustrated? They're frustrated in that way? Because I thought parents would like that.
No. There's some parents are getting mad because it's like that's too draconian. Some parents are in support because they're like that's proper in terms of getting people ready for an employer's workspace.
Yeah.
But then some people are like that's taking away a lot of the regular experience. Like for example, physical contact and romantic relationships covers the entire element. So you would get in trouble for fighting, obviously, because that's physical contact. But then you'd also get in trouble for like hugging your friends. It's like you can't do that.
So all touching.
Yeah, physical contact.
I don't know. That kind of diminishes your ability to have any like social dynamic intelligence.
Especially at that age, right? Which is kind of what we've also...
Because you don't even know how to navigate it.
Right.
Yeah, like
Maybe they're just trying to be old school British where they're like bows and curtsies.
Won't that make kids hornier a little bit?
Oh, dude, the
By not
suppression
being able to
effect?
do it?
Yeah.
Yeah, they'll probably push back a little bit.
Because you can't even shake hands. You can't even fucking like dap people up. You can't. You just gotta be like.
Hello. Governor.
I'm sure that obviously like little things like that, you know, eventually you get away with it. But for sure, romantic relationships, PDA, obviously fighting, but we already get that, you know. But like I think it's more the with Kalyne's point, the idea of like, you know, social learning and stuff like that. It's kind of that's the time, right?
Plus, I don't think just because the rules in place is going to stop people from doing it. Especially if you have the vast majority of people doing it, what are you going to do? Is expel everybody?
Yeah, how would they enforce that anyway, right?
Right.
They should expel everybody, and you left with 5 students.
And they're all weirdos.
Yeah, they're all the socially awkward kids.
Yeah, they're all freaks.
They're all germaphobes.
Right.
Sometimes it makes me think like, what's the point? You know, like I get like you always try to like progress, so you try to change things.
What's the end goal?
Yeah, but there's a point where it's like, oh, this thing's running pretty cool. Like, let's put it into cruise control, but they don't want to. They're like, no, we've got to keep changing everything, and they keep.
The executive head teacher, Maggie Callaghan, has defended the policy and said the school is focused on encouraging pupils to behave professionally. That's like
They can't hug.
Yeah, but that's like what profession? You can get into a lot of professions where that type of thing's so normal.
Oh my god. They act like
professionals
school gets you ready for the workplace.
Oh, good luck. Come on.
Fuck out of here.
She said that most parents and pupils support the policy as it encourages pupils to behave professionally as any future employer would expect. Whereas one frustrated parent who wished to remain nameless spoke to local media and expressed her annoyance at the new policy coming into effect. She said, I couldn't believe it. In this day and age, I agree that inappropriate touching, hitting, and punching, of course, has to be dealt with, but they're not teaching students how to have a healthy relationship. The inference is that you can't touch anyone. Children won't know what it is or isn't appropriate, what is or isn't appropriate, and the ability to empathize with their peers is being taken away.
Yeah,
It's an extreme. It's like when you put it in extreme situations, I mean, there's the argument that people, one, aren't going to follow it, and people who are going to do it anyways are going to just do it. And then the fact that it's that extreme is just going to push people to just...
And that's attractive to do.
Yeah.
Sure.
And I don't know.
Or
I don't know any workplace where like, well, every single one that I've been to, if someone has something to celebrate, like I remember, this girl got engaged, and then all of her coworkers were like, "Congratulations!" They all hugged, all that stuff, and I'm like, that's normal culture. That's normal shit to do. Like, so I'm like, are they gonna refrain from that, or are there a lot of workplaces that don't congratulate and hug and do normal shit like that? Because I've never worked in a space that.
Well, isn't our first language body language and being able to communicate in that way?
Yeah.
So
It
you're
was
taking away
Anthony's
our
first
like
language.
nature.
What the fuck?
Yeah,
That's something came straight out the womb, dude. Yeah, this lady said, I have a daughter, and her friends greet each other with a hug, but if they do that now, they'll face being put into isolation.
That's so stupid.
That's stupid.
You know what sex too is? I feel like that's more of like a girl to guy thing that happened in school.
Yeah.
I feel like girls were more like huggy than guys were anyway.
Yeah.
We hug each other when we leave at this workplace, don't we?
Yeah, but like we grew up and also
grow
like
up
we
your
came
butt,
out
too?
the closet.
Cause you guys remember
Buttlickers.
being in school and if like a girl socked you, that was her flirting with you in a way. You know, like
And you punch her back,
how
right?
you supposed to know? We're idiots. Guys are idiots.
And I'm sure there's some studies out there that can show that you not hugging another person is like bad for your mental health. You know, like for sure. Like you need some.
That's like a pervert's
Yeah.
defense. It's like my mental health, man. It's
It releases
deteriorating.
serotonin and dopamine. I have to hug you.
I got to spoon somebody or I'll fail.
Don't debunk me in front of everybody, dude.
Comparatively, just based off of what you've been able to observe between like the UK versus like the US, for example, what is like the stigma on like PDA
You're well more emotional here.
here?
Oh yeah.
Really?
Oh yeah. It's much more like stiff upper lip in the UK. We don't show affection.
Because they always smelling shit on the ground.
Wait, what do you mean?
How does that correlate?
Because they always look like this. Oh dear.
Yeah.
But what about like the other European countries that do the
Yeah,
on
we're
the
like-
side? Like they're like,
You'll do a little of that, but
like
you're not
really
like emotional about it.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Like it's a habit. It's just
It's just it's like shaking a hand or something. Whereas like I walk in here, everyone's like, hey, and then in Britain it'd be like, you're right. Way down here. America's up here.
Oh, they play it up too here.
Yeah. Whereas here it's like Britain, it's down there. So maybe she was just like, look guys, you're acting too American. We need to rein this back.
That's the motivation, yeah.
She's like, this is not what we are. Tone it down. Stiff upper lip. What would Churchill say? Stop hugging.
What would Churchill say?
Actually makes a lot of sense now.
So because this is in the UK, it's not necessarily that giant of like a concept to you. Whereas for here, I think here people would be like in a fucking uproar.
Oh, dude, yeah.
It's not American, brother.
I feel like something triggered it. Like maybe hella kids were just late for class.
And there was
Too
just
late.
an orgy in like the
Just
science room.
something.
They keep making out in the hallway.
the rule can't just stem from nowhere.
Maybe in your school, Anthony Lee.
Because I feel like it was banned when I was in school. Like we would get told off a little bit for that.
For hugging and fighting.
For fighting, yeah.
that's
Well, they
normal.
banned like some. It depends what you were doing because we used to play rugby and like British Bulldog and things like that. So that's kind of its own thing.
British Bulldog.
Brit-
What is that?
That's banned now.
really? What is that?
So you've got playground, concrete ground, right? You've got a wall here. You've got 30 kids here, one kid in the middle. Those 30 kids have to get to the other side, and this kid in the middle has to stop them by just like piling. And then if you get taken down, you're now in the middle. So it ends with like 20 kids in the middle, 10 kids trying to run across.
That's cool.
And we just body slam them to the ground.
Yeah, that's tight.
And they don't allow kids to play that anymore?
People got damaged.
We used to go because we were
Yeah, if it's concrete.
Yeah, well, they banned it first. You weren't allowed to play on concrete ground.
Yeah.
That was when I was in school, like towards the end, and then they just banned it altogether. Pussies.
In America,
That
we
sounds
just had
fun.
like Red Rover.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't. It was
We didn't have
definitely not as
anything like
hardcore
that.
as that. Yeah.
That's cool. That sounds great.
That sounds really
We used to play this game called Kill the Carrier, where one kid will have a football or something, and they have to make it from one end of the field to the other, and then everyone has to pile on.
Isn't that
Kinda
just rugby,
similar.
but like
Yeah.
with less rules?
I guess, but it's like one person against everyone. So like everyone has to everyone has to tackle them to the ground, and whoever tackles them to the ground becomes the carrier, and then they got to run it back the opposite way.
We had fight to get out of the room.
What?
That's really fun. You're just in a room, and the last one out the door loses.
Oh shit.
Usually the first one at the door gets messed up the most because that guy grabs a knob, everyone grabs that guy, and just so everyone's just fighting to get out. And if you're the last one out, then you lose.
That's great training for crisis management.
It's awesome, yeah.
Screw everybody else, save yourself.
Yeah, really, that's the American way.
Anytime there's like a mass shooting that starts happening, you're like, I'm not going for the door first. I know how this shit works out.
Yeah, you let everybody fight it, and then you just roll over everybody.
Yeah, that's pretty American right there.
I like that British Bulldog game. That's tight.
That sounds fun.
Yeah.
does sound kinda
You get
fun.
messed up though.
Oh yeah, I imagine you do get messed up.
It was just basic rugby.
I see one slight pro in the idea of like prohibition in different ways. Like imagine you put these kind of like no touching blah blah blah, and people get used to it and you accept it. That means like the moment like a girl makes like eye contact with you, suddenly that's like holding your hand. Or if like or if like somebody just like taps you like your hand or something like that, that's like you'll get a boner. You know what I'm saying?
Like back to seeing women's ankles. And
They're just like sexting with notes. Passing notes.
I mean, they're doing everything digitally now.
No,
You're
they're
drawing-
not. They've
you're
taken away
drawing-
the phones now too. They've taken away everything.
They're doing this shit in front of them.
Yeah. Stupid.
Because that's like what it was in like elementary school, right? Like in elementary school, you're not really allowed to do certain. Obviously, you know, you don't know what's going on, but you're so young and you're so green to those concepts that when they're introduced to you, you're like, it's a big fucking deal. You like tell all your friends and stuff like that. But I can only imagine what that is at a high school level, right? When you're technically supposed to be like more mature in that understanding, if you will.
I remember one of the first things was if a girl sat on your lap and then you got a boner and they didn't leave, that was like the first step to like sexual kind of, oh shit, I got some action.
Yeah.
And they didn't leave.
Yeah. They just stayed there the whole time.
For how long?
First off, I'm like, I didn't even invite you.
That's the test.
I didn't even invite you to sit on my lap, but you're here.
Yeah.
And I can't control my penis right now, and I'm trying to wiggle away, but they're staying there.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna stay in this position.
And then your legs fall asleep.
The first time a girl like straddle sat on my lap was in lab.
Straddle slap.
Yeah, she just went like this. Cause I was like dating her, kind of. We were like, I was like a sophomore, and then all my friends went, "Ew," and then I went, "Yeah, ew."
Why? Ew.
Peer pressure, man.
Yeah, peer pressure.
Yeah, ew.
What did she do? Was she embarrassed?
She didn't care.
Oh no. Yeah.
We didn't really know what we were doing anyway, but
Yeah.
they said ew, but then in the beginning I was like, ooh, and then I went, yeah, gross. I'm not gay.
Are people here or in the UK more or less likely to be kind of prude? Like the comfort with their sexuality and stuff like that?
I think we're less like there's more censorship here on TV and things like that.
Okay.
But I think behind closed doors we're kinkier. But up front we don't talk about it as much.
in the UK.
Yeah, like we joke about it, like it's a funny thing, but not like so chatty. But behind closed doors, I think we're kinkier.
Than Americans.
Yeah, I would say.
So we're all talk, huh?
Yeah.
And then
I think that's accurate.
where's like Joe's level with that though? You know what I mean?
In terms of kink,
Joe's all cock.
Yeah. Yeah, he is. A handsome one, too.
we talked about you in sex so much.
I am a warrior dick.
He had to redraw his own penis imagination. It's like, this is what my dick looks like.
It's like